Yeah. But if I had a different, I want to undo that, by the way. Get out a quick mask. If I had a, I'll maybe I can do it if I'm zoomed in this far. So if I go into quick mask mode, I can see that these pixels are not selected. So I could go in with a brush, okay, and with a white brush, I got to get that brush way smaller. With a white brush, I could paint those in, and I've got a soft brush, I can tell I do. Get that hardness up. I could paint those back in, okay? So then when I get out of quick mask mode, I can see that those are selected. Oops. See that? I can do that same thing down here. If I zoom in far enough and go into quick mask mode. And the nice thing about quick mask is if you make a mistake, you just switch from white to black. Excuse me. And you can deselect those back out if there's some that you didn't mean to get. Okay? So there's so many ways to add and subtract to your selection. So if I get in here, get back to quick mask mode, get to white, not to black, maybe even make a smaller brush and go in there. So I can do it with the pink as long as I zoom way the heck in. All these things are going to come in handy when you are doing the Honey, I Shrunk the Me project and you are trying to extract yourself or other objects out of pictures. Okay, because if you want to get really refined, using the right tool and then getting it into quick mask mode and making sure you've got everything selected that you want and nothing that you don't want. So now what I want to do with the magic wand is I want to change this color. So I'm just going to keep using the same thing. Adjustments, hue and saturation. Okay. And let's make it yellow. I don't know that we can get yellow from here. We might. Yeah, not a bad yellow. Some colors just they may be too dark to be able to get something. Okay. And when I deselect, I'll probably see a little red. Yeah, I've got some red here. But for these purposes, worry about that. Just want to give you a basic of how the quick selection works. All right. What I want to do is I want to leave that and I want to let you go back to it later. Okay. So you've got all the layers. So you can save a copy with the magic wand. Don't do it now. We'll do it in just a little bit. You can save a copy with the quick. You can save a copy with the object and put those in and do your explanation on the slideshow. Okay. But I want to get through the other things in Photoshop. So if we just save it, we can even come back to it tomorrow and do that. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. Let's open up the oh shoot, I gotta go here first, which is the first selection here, color range. Okay, let's open up from Photoshop. From this thing, there's one called rows, right? Right click on rows and go ahead and open that with Photoshop or go through Photoshop open. Let's get the rows open. Okay. And we are going to say select let's duplicate the layer first. Sorry. So the rows. We're going to go to select and color range. And you're going to get an eyedropper and go ahead and click on somewhere in the pinkish reds-ish. Okay. We got the fuzziness back. Okay, we got fuzziness back. Go ahead and turn that fuzziness up until you got pretty much all the red and pinkish stuff in here selected.
Turn up to 200%. Or 200.
Yeah, does it take anything else? Yeah, go ahead and click OK when you get that. And you got all the things that fall within that particular color. If you also need the pinks, I'm trying to think how we could do it with the pinks too. There's some ways we could do it, but let's take that and let's go to filter, and let's go to camera raw filter. Get started is fine. I want to go down to saturation and vibrance, and I'm going to saturate it up a bit and make it a little more vibrant just in that color area there. Okay, I want to click OK. And then when I deselect, it will have saturated and made vibrant just those particular things. I mean, you can do anything with it. You can move things, whatever. It's just like you can with any selection. Okay, but that's what color range does. It chooses a certain color within an image. We use this a lot with the green screen. Kind of a lot of times our first go-to, if you shoot a picture against the green screen, and then you go to the color range and get the color range and use that to make your selection. You're selecting the green screen, so generally then you're going to do an inverse selection to move the person out. But a lot of times that's where you'll kind of get started. Okay. All right. Let's open up from that folder. Let's open up. Actually, let's just stay on this one and duplicate the background again. And let's call this focus. And click OK. And pull that to the top. And let's rename rows color range. And on focus, we're going to go to select focus area. Okay, go ahead and click OK. Why is it not letting me click OK? There we go.
Focus area.
It's under select.
Yes.
Focus area.
Do anything with this window?
It'll pop up with a kind of a preview, so you can tell it kind of how much in focus range you want. Okay, but if you click OK, it will select everything that's within a certain range of focus on this image. So this goes back to depth of field when you take a photo. So if you have perfect depth of field, like 100% depth of field in an image where everything is in focus, you're not going to be able to use this selection option. But if you are have something that you've got a shallower depth of field where the subject is in focus but the background is not, sometimes this will be what works. Okay, so worked okay, don't love it. Okay, but we're just going to keep this focus, and for this one let's just do a filter. Let's do blur, a Gaussian blur. And rather than have it in focus, let's make it really out of focus. Like that, sure. Looks ridiculous, but that's all right. We're just kind of showing what you get when you have certain selection processes. Okay, one last time, duplicate background. Call it subject. Move it to the top. Okay. Again, select, only this time we're going to take subject. This one can take quite some time to go through the process, depending on the speed of your computer, depending on how many pixels you have in your image, depending on the complexity of your photograph. Okay. But it tries to find the subject of your photo. This did a lot better job than the focus area did, right? Okay, for this one particular rose. All right, should we make this a yellow rose? I did select and subject. Okay, so let's make this a yellow rose. So I'm going to go to image, adjustments. And there are other ways to change the color, but I don't want to get into too many things at once. So I'm going to try and make this yellow if I can.
Very realistic. Just change the hue and saturation, go through on something.
Yeah, now I got this nice yellow rose. Okay, now, looking at the time, we're okay. Last one we're going to open up, or last two we're going to open up. We're going to open up the two mountain pictures. Mountain blue sky, mountain one cloud. It was actually,
For later.
we will. Yep, so don't close anything. Okay, so we're going to open up the two mountains. Open Photoshop. And Photoshop.
Open control key when you're selecting them.
I know. I'm being lazy. Duplicate the background layers. Just call them sky for both of them. So for both of these, you're duplicating the background layer. Calling them both sky. And just with sky, just go to select sky. Do it on both of them. Yeah, that's why I did the one with the cloud, because it includes the clouds. Kind of cool. So if you need it to look more like a sunset, you need to change the sky color a little bit. Maybe you need an absolute blue sky, and so you're going to replace it with a blue sky. Maybe you got a photo with a blue sky that you can take this out and slide underneath it. So you could just hit delete, put a layer underneath it. You could do that. If you zoom in on the mountaintop though, what do you find?
Oh no, we didn't select absolutely all of the mountain.
Yeah, we got an issue here. So if we were to delete or we were to change color, whatever, we're going to have to get rid of some of this. What are some things we could do here?
Use the brush tool and quick mask mode.
We could quick mask and brush it out. So if I went into quick mask mode, okay, that's a little bit easier to see, isn't it? Kind of. Okay, now if I go into my, make it black with a paintbrush, I can paint this out that was selected. Make sure that none of the mountain is selected. So I can do that. Looks like I got some over here too. Then when I get out of quick mask, I can see my selection again. Oh, I missed a spot. Back into quick mask. Quickly get that spot. Back out.
Still some.
Yeah, there's some random ones. I'm not going to worry about that right now because we're running on time. Okay. I don't care what you do to those two skies, just do something to them. And then save all of your documents as Photoshop documents so that tomorrow when we come in, all you got to do is do a save a copy for each one that has to go on to your slideshow. Okay?